Alright. I think we could probably say it's working okay. Alright. Okay, there we go. There we go, everybody. Hello. Hello, everybody in Internet Land. Hello, Cryptid. There we go. Let's get this set up there. Okay. Oh. Ugh. Alright. What are we doing? There we go. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome in. How is everybody in Internet Land? She absolutely would. Yeah, that's Ghostly's like MO. Last time this happened, I believe Ghostly likes to she wants to win at everything. So, including trivia, even by I'm pretty sure by the rules of trivia night cheating. Nerd, or I mean all powerful conquering worm. That nerd worm's doing okay. Worm's doing okay. It's definitely a lot warmer today. It's been like cool and chill and cozy, but today was a lot warmer. So fighting the exhaustion / sleepiness that comes with that. Though I've also been like, this like cold allergies, something going on, man, because I have just felt perpetually like I am fighting a thing for like 2-3 weeks now, and it must just be allergy season just wrecking me. But it's just I cannot seem to have a day where I'm not like congested or something wacky's going on. So yeah, it's probably just a really bad allergy season. Pretty good. I'm also yawning because I didn't sleep last night. Yep. Yeah, I didn't sleep well last night either. Yeah. I've been having some sleep issues. But I can boil water. But I can boil water in 4 minutes now. Oh Jesus. Okay, there you go. I don't know if that's. I don't know. That just seems like you turn the stove on really hot. Pollen is real bad. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, yeah. And it's like it's always really windy in the spring because we have like the winds that, I mean, that's what causes the fires. Is the winds come through like the Santa Ana, and they come through, and they sometimes we get crazy winds. So it's probably just all up in the air, and it's just messing me up. Oh, the stove. That's right, the stove. The old stove does not fuck around. Proper, yeah. None of these safety restraints on newer stoves. Like these old stoves, they knew people didn't have time. They didn't have time to wait around for that. That's great though. My glass up to 20 minutes. Holy shit. I wonder if it's a convection oven, because at my grandma's house they have like one of those glass stovetops, and it boils water really fast. It might be a convection oven though. Or actually, yeah, actually, when I was in New Mexico at the house that they were putting up the showrunners in, I'm pretty sure that had a glass stovetop convection thing too, because I remember that boiling water in an insanely short time. But there was a lot of warnings about like how to use it, like do not leave shit on this stove. Like there was like do not like yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, it's probably induction convection. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, there was a lot. I remember on that stove there was a ton of warnings, like just do not forget about this, which is why I should never own one of those, because my stove habits are, I forget about the stove a lot. It's a problem. It's a continual problem in my life. I need like a bell. I need like a little bell that just rings when the stove doesn't get turned off, because I will just straight up walk away, particularly if I don't see the fire. If I have like a bigger pan on there or something like that, and for whatever reason it's on there and I can't see the, it used to happen a lot with when I would toast like tortillas on this iron cast or cast iron plate thing. um I had the worst habit of leaving it on low, so I would get back and be like, it's kind of warm in the kitchen, and I look under and like the fire's still going. It's like, oh yeah, that's not a problem. But you can only use very certain pots on one, so they're picky, too rich for my taste. Okay, yeah, I've only yeah, I think it's only been in places. I think the one of my grandparents might be. It feels. I think it might be a convection. I can't remember, because I do know like half of my family has to like problem solve all the new tech that comes into that place. So every time my dad's up there, he's always got to like figure it, because my dad tends to do a lot of the cooking. He has to kind of figure out the new stove tech. So my father loves to cook. He's a good cook, but it's simple. Like he just wants like a grill or like a normal stove or an oven. Anyway, I'll take the kitchen Cadillac. Yeah, there you go. Cat. Hey man, never don't no shame on the caddy. Oh my god, Muppet, you do need a stove bell. Holy hell, yeah. That's yeah. I have on one occasion left my apartment and come back hours later with realizing that the stove was on. That was definitely a horrifying experience. That like legit scared the shit out of me, because I was like, I just straight up left the house with a fucking a live fire burning. I mean, in theory, I mean, I like to I like to think that even if things had gone wrong, a fire would not have exploded. Anyway, I'm telling you, my electric bills. Oh yeah, because if it was electric powered, then probably your gas bill will go up, but your electric, if it's, is it gas powered? I'm assuming it's gas powered if your electric bill is going to go down, or or if it's gas power, or if it's electric powered, just because you won't have to use it as much because it won't take forever. Oh, it's all electric. Okay, okay, okay. I mean, that's probably true. Although it might, because it's an older stove, it might not be as efficient either. So it might be using way more electricity too. So you never know. You never know. It could be the opposite. Sometimes old tech is like that. Although I feel like some old stoves, or like some old appliances, are actually more energy efficient than modern ones. Even though modern ones have like the the little star rating or whatever. But I mean, maybe not. I feel like, well, maybe not. Maybe none of them were, and that's just like a thing. I like to. A part of me just assumes that because I'd be like, I'm sure shit was like blowing up, which they actually probably were blowing up. Yes, because it actually works well. Okay, there you go. I think they're more. I think they're more efficient. That's my conspiracy theory. There is a little bit things were built better. There's that whole thing, but it certainly does not go that way for cars and gasoline. I can tell you that because older cars do not burn gasoline more efficiently. That is for fucking sure. They are They do not. They are not efficient. Glass tops are a con. Okay, buy big electric to make you pay higher bills and keep buying stove because you can't replace the burners. Well, that's definitely true. The whole like you can't replace the burners, that's 100% true for sure. I'm starting to think it's all a crock. I mean, it's the whole thing's a scam. Everything is a scam. Welcome to modern industrial capital. It's all the whole fucking thing is a scam. In fact, can we call it a scam if the scam itself is how the system functions? If the core fundamental principle is itself the scam, then is that a scam? Or is it that we create an entire economic infrastructure out of a scam? Can you scam the scam? And if you're scamming the scam, then, well, maybe that's what modern betting markets are. The modern betting markets are scamming the scam. That's how we've done it. So the whole thing is a pyramid scheme and a scam. But now we've legalized all these insane sort of like modern betting markets to then scam on the scam. Yep, there you go. That's how it's done. See, that's the beautiful thing. That's the fundamental core principle of capitalism, right? It breaks all codes and resets everything, and constantly has to redefine how money go up, even though the money itself is arbitrary and not actually related to anything. Because I've never heard of old electric stoves or fridges blowing up. Yeah, see, that was the thing. Is like, but then again, like, there was some stuff that was just common back in the old days, like lead paint, that everyone's just kind of like, yeah, that was a thing, but no one talked about it. So I was like, maybe shit was blowing up, and people just didn't talk about it. But they're labeling new stuff as more efficient to make you replace them, since older ones never die. Older things are more, generally speaking, more durable. This is true. This is definitely true. They were also far more expensive to produce as well, though. That is true. A lot of those older things were massively subsidized in order to be quote unquote affordable, because they were very expensive to produce. Now that we have these like broken, like very cheap industrial manufacturing systems, we tend to use much cheaper materials. And things are also much more finite. Like particularly as electronics have gotten to a thing, like that's like durability is has a whole different system to which it's referring to than like what older, it's like carbureted engines versus fuel injected engines in cars. Yeah, I was about to say it's a pyramid scheme to make you pay higher bills and buy more electronics. I mean, that's the case. For sure. We lost all progress in the American kitchen when we took butter warmers out of the refrigerator. That itself should be a like qualifier. Like, that's the anthropological moment. That's the moment that we all look to, that we're like, this is when American kitchens became dystopian nightmares. I like that. That's very funny. I'm a big fan of that. Butter warmers. That is really funny. I don't know if anyone in my family has ever used a butter warmer. I don't know if it's because we came from farm life or like farm culture, but butter was never in the refrigerator. I think it was in the freezer if it was bought in bulk, but the butter was always on the counter. Like, always on the counter. It was always room temperature. Like, butter was like never in the fridge. They did, and they were temp controlled. You could set it. That's cool. I did not know that. That's pretty rad. I love that was in a fridge too. that I can see. So you can have everything cooled, but you can warm up your butter so it's perfect for your toast. There you go. It's smart. I don't know how well. I'm assuming it has to be like a siphoned off thing, or all you're doing is just countering the cooling of the actual fridge. So I'm assuming it's like a little pocket that you close. And the fridges had Lazy Susan or pull-out shelves, so things didn't get lost. Oh yeah, pull-out shelves are yeah. My fridge still has pull-out shelves. Oh, it was a compartment. Oh, okay, it was a compartment in the door. Gotcha. I was like, pull-out shelves are everything. I have pull-out shelves. They still do pull-out shelves in some fridges. I mean, my fridge is what, 10, 12 years old now, but there's like pull-out doors. Not many, maybe not as many, probably. We built things proper once. We built proper things once. Well, we built things once, Cryptid. That's the actual answer. We don't. No, nothing is built or made anymore. We exist in a purely, purely financialized economy now. We do not build things. Priority is not made to building things. Oh, I know. I loathe it. Yeah. It's just the part of the dystopian, the modern dystopian living place we find ourselves in. It is interesting that like that was like the entire spirit of like ingenuity was initially the mechanized industrialization of the economy. And everybody, obviously that was like a dystopian hellscape that people had to fight against too. But it did make manufacturing a shitload of stuff very quickly, very easily. But at the same time, now it's like they're like, we've run out of ways to make money, so now we've got to find other ways to make money, or at least not really make money, but gain assets, gain the I guess that's the idea of money. I mean, they do make money. These things, the companies do make money, but it's all like none of it's like, it's not real. It's not like bank account money. That's what I guess that's the way to put it. None of this is bank account money. Like money that actually exists in a bank account. This is just 1/7 of Cryptid's old kitchen. Cryptid, you are going to make like your eventual dream kitchen is going to be this old, like not like Betty Crocker, but like like an old style, like everything retro, built near a century ago. And it's probably all going to work better than the shit does today. Yes, that's the one. There you go. Yeah, that's the I mean, that's what I remember. There was an old, I mean, I'm pretty sure I have an old Betty Crocker cookbook. I don't have a Betty Crocker kitchen, but I do have a cookbook. If I could get aluminum chems, I'd be in heaven. That's pretty badass. That's like vintage. That's like vintage 70s shit right there. Like the actual aluminum doors and aluminum. Yeah, good lord. That is a flash of the man. I feel like I need a home for that. The only reason I haven't ever like doubled down into any of that stuff is as a renter, you just know everything that you do to this place is like never really yours. I guess unless you plan on like living in a rental for the rest of your life, then you just do whatever the hell you want. It's not your problem, because if you're gonna die in that place, then it doesn't matter at that point. But I have a very small set in the basement, but they wouldn't get me far. Oh, okay, yeah. There's a few like retro places. Like there's some home and good. There's a place called Goods on Orange, which is this very 70s vintage place. It's actually where I got that. Love this seat. Back in the day when I could afford to buy furniture and afford to get a U-Haul to ferry the furniture from San Diego. But they actually have a table and some chairs I would really like to get at some point if someone doesn't buy it. But but they have like really, really, really good. It's like cheap. It's not like extraordinarily exorbitantly expensive. They have some of those. They have some of those like cabinets, like aluminum cabinets, metal cabinets for that you can like install on the wall. They have a lot of really good, and it's primarily from the 70s. It's primarily looking like 60s, 70s vintage. That's like generally the vibe. Yeah, if you can't tell, it's definitely very like 70s coded. Um, yes, my architectural salvage, my favorite place to go. Yeah, that's very cool. I love your sofa. Of course, oh yeah, that's. I mean, everything is. The only, I mean, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Oh, that too. I got yeah the little stand that the skull lamp is on. That too was from there. It's got like a little door. Um, yeah, I think most everything in here, furniture wise, with the exception of my desk and the chair. Well, and yeah, and like, but the Japanese, obviously the Japanese futon and all that stuff is handmade. I buy all that stuff handmade from Japan. But yeah, no, I think everything else in here is pretty much thrifted. A lot of it was, yeah. Um. Oh yeah, the bookcase. Yeah. That book. I got that. I got that bookcase. That wasn't from the 70s. I mean, that's pretty. It's probably pretty like 90s coded. 90. I like the windows on it. Um. The I have a really old. I kind of hate it. I do have an old couch. That is very. It's kind of the same color as that. It's got a bunch of flowers on it. It's definitely a grandma couch. The problem is it's got like this crazy. It's got a really heavy bed, pull out bed in it. But the main like the main like canvas like that kind of makes the couch part the couch has finally broken, so the middle seat just sinks, and I kind of hate it now. So there is a couch in my living room that I do have to get replaced at some point because it's kind of insufferable to sit on because everybody just sinks to the center. And I've actually looked to see if I could get like a wood piece to like install just to do it, but I'd have to pull the bed out. And that bed is like one of those old vintage 1960s beds, so it's like designed to cut your hands off. It's super heavy. So it might just be a wash that I just get I try to find a new vintage couch at some point to put in there. Getting that in was rough, Crypto. Getting that couch into the apartment was a fucking nightmare. Apparently, and it also, yeah, it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. It was brutal. It was not fun. We also thrift just about everything because we love old things best. Yeah, I can't wait to install my $15 purple pedestal sink. Nice, yeah. Yeah, all of my actually all my like whiskey, like Scotch whiskey glasses, drinking glasses, they're all from that Goods on Orange place. All those cocktail, I guess, bar glasses, essentially rocks, like for Scotch on the rocks or something like that. All of those glasses are vintage from the 70s and the 60s that I bought from that place. I don't use them as much anymore. I actually mostly use them if I drink sake or shochu now because I don't drink a lot of Scotch anymore. Y'all need a smaller. Did you yell pivot a lot? Yes. A lot of yelling and shouting, and then everybody being in agonizing pain after we had gotten it in. So that's how it is. Yeah, that's how it was. But anyway, all right. We're at like 30 minutes. All right. We started early. We're gonna see. I'm gonna keep it at 30-minute sprints today. We're gonna see. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to get through 3 sprints for sure. Before 7. But we'll I'm pretty sure we will. I would be shocked if we didn't. But all right. But we should probably dive into the sprints. I of course will be working on Schism still. That is the life. And he set up, you want to do work. So I'm like, yeah, I try. I just feel bad doing 40-minute sprints, and sometimes we only get 2, because I have to leave early, and I have to cut it short. So I just figured if I can squeeze 3 in and it's 30 minutes, it's like, And then 4. I mean, at some point in the future, maybe we'll get to a point where I can do 4 40-minute sprints again, like back in the old days. But time is not as kind these days. So who knows? Who knows? You don't have to be for being busy. We all know you're sought. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sought after, but I'm getting hired more, which is good. I have a big old 3.5 year hole I have to dig myself out of. Thanks to this economy. Um, you're in demand. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, in demand. I'm in demand. Yeah. It's funny. I'm in demand, but somehow being paid a lot less than I used to get paid. I'm not sure how that works, but all right. Well, let us dive on in. I'm going to be running the Schism playlist as I usually do, but we'll see. Might shift over later, but why don't we get on to it? Ba-bam. Wait, there we go. Okay, there we go. All right, pausing. All right, let's get to it. Happy writing, everybody. Let us do the sprints. If I can make it work. If I can actually make anything work. This is my life. There we go. There we go. And music. Music. Ho! There we go. All right. All right, everybody. We got this. You got this. Happy writing. And we will see you all on the other side. And away we go. Oh my goodness. 30 minutes is short. 30 minutes, like, I actually feel it. It's short. It's crazy. Anyway, hopefully it was a good sprint. Moon Runes, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully everything is going wonderful. Those pictures, I know, I feel like I need to figure out where I snuck. I have a bunch of pictures that I never posted to, like, Facebook or Instagram. Well, actually, this would have been before I even had an Instagram, when we were hiking around those hills. I clearly never posted them on Facebook because I have a whole thing I pulled of all the pictures that I had posted on Facebook before I deleted Facebook years ago. And so I couldn't find it in there at all. So it's somewhere. Somewhere I will find these damn bunker pictures. I swear to God, I took pictures of them. I remember it vividly too, because this might be a little bit of a gross story. Hopefully, I'm not like traumatizing anybody by telling this. But one time going there, I didn't take pictures of this because it was, one, it seemed like, even though they were doing it in a weird public place, also a very weird place to choose to do this, but they were doing clearly trying to do like Wicca stuff, but it was like a weird version of Wicca and I've known a few people who do stuff with hooks, but they were doing hook stuff at like a Nazi bunker, which, like, I get it if you want to go do some weird like body stuff. Yeah, no. The hook stuff wasn't Wicca, but they were like branding themselves as Wicca people. But yeah, they were. No, I know the hook stuff's not Wicca, but like what they were doing was. But that's such a. It was like, I get the whole like you want to go be in nature because it's all taken over by nature, but it's like a fucking Nazi bunker. Like, I'm just imagining the vibes there, if you're trying to channel the spirits, might not be the best. Like, hanging from them to... Okay, yes, Moon Runes, yeah, that is what it is, yeah. So I knew people who did this stuff back with, like, Asatru Nordic pagan groups when I was in Arizona. I had been around some people who... I have certainly never done it. But, I knew people who did. Yes, and that's what it is. It's essentially it's suspension hooks, yeah. Body suspension, as for meditation, is a wild way for someone to process their various trauma, but go off. It was very like I knew people who did it. I knew people who liked to do it, but like, so I was familiar with the practice when we saw it happening there. But like, that's a weird choice of place. Yeah, Moon Runes, like, you just suddenly see people, like, hanging from hooks. I mean, it's a weird thing to walk into in the middle of the woods. Yeah, I would have turned and ran. Yeah. Some people will do literally anything but go to therapy. It's definitely that vibe, yeah. Like, and I don't, like, some people do, like, it's sensory, like, want to do... Like, it definitely rides the line between what is, like, clearly you're just doing bodily harm to yourself versus, like, I guess, like flagellation or like, yeah, where, like, what certain Catholics can do. So it's just get roasted by your tarot cards like the rest of us. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's weird. But anyway, they were doing it at this old Nazi bunker. And we used to go do pictures and like climb up. There's a big old water tower that's like mildly imploded, and we used to go climb up it on the backside of the place. So we used to just go over there and take pictures and hang out there. It was fun place to just... Honestly, it was just a fun place to go when we would go hike it, because it's in the Santa Monica Hills. And it was just a fun place to, like, kind of, like, go check out some stuff while you're hiking the trails up there. But, like, sometimes you'd see some weird shit. And definitely it was, like, a lot of homeless people would be out there. But the homeless people were never the problem. It was the fucking weird... It was the weird goddamn fucking hook people. You don't need to self-harm to be an edgelord. You could just own an entirely Killstar wardrobe. Yeah, we can all be edgelords. Like, no shame to the edgelords, but you don't need to do some form of bodily mutilation to do it. But again, I'm not here to totally shit on everybody's kink. It is one that I find like is on a line that I am almost like I you have to make a very good case why this is what does it for you. Because it certainly seems it's a little too much. But it definitely cryptid. It had like, and this was like, yeah, this would have been 2012, 2013. It definitely had like early edge, there was edgelord vibes. It was just, it felt like counterculture-y, but like in a weird way, not in like a normal way. It was weird. It's also just anybody who chooses that kind of place to do it. I'm immediately making all kinds of weird assumptions about what you're into, because if I'm going to go do some meditative practice, a Nazi bunker is not one I'm gonna go to. That's time. That's time and money you could have just spent at a Sleep Token concert. That's is Sleep Token edgelord? Is that an edgelord? I mean, I know almost nothing about Sleep Token except for the music I don't vibe with. But like, is that just edgelord stuff? Is that what it is? Okay, encrypted. Yes. Okay. All right, that's okay. That's edgelord. Okay, Sleep Token edgelord. I'm categorizing in my brain, so if anyone expects me to know anything about it, Sleep Token, I will just throw that out there. But it's like it's toxic relationship stuff, which is the same. Oh, gotcha. Okay. I was like, is it edgelord? Is the way? I guess nothing is really edgelord the way that that ICP was. ICP was its own unique brand of stuff. It's unique brand of ICP is like unique in the way that it's using like gangster rap, humor, clown culture, a weird cult, and it actually all is just like technically like Christian, which is funny. Which is a very funny thing to me, that it was just like this super hardcore kind of pseudo comedy edgelord gangster rap that is all just like super hyper like pro Christian. I mean, I guess you could make that argument for Sabbath. Like even Black Sabbath, they're all like super religious. So I guess that makes it. There was something about wrapping it all up, even though they're like in the occult, but it's all like super Jesus happy. It's very funny. No one could ever. Sleep Token took the makeup and the cult and ties. No one could ever. Sleep Token took the makeup and the cult and tie and tries to make it hot. Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. Okay. Though, fun fact, might also be Christian based. I would be willing to bet it's happened so often. It's so like it's. I mean, to be fair, like metal, there is nothing more metal than like the Bible and like Revelation. So that tracks. If that's your like, I can see that metal. I can kind of see it in you ever read the chapter like what Revelations like that? It just straight up is a metal album. It's wild. So like it tracks, like that tracks. The gangster rap part of it with ICP is always what like threw me for a loop. A dear friend is a theory that Sleep Token are former Hillsong, and honestly it lines up. Okay. I know literally nothing about Sleep Token. I will literally just say right now I know nothing about them. All I know is I've come around on Ghost. At least the first couple of albums of Ghost. Pretty much up until the Plague album. The Plague album I like. After that they kind of lose me a little bit. But I figured out Ghost. Ghost I've come around on, and I was like, Meliora is a fucking banger album. I'm never gonna take that away. That album rocks. So I have learned my lesson not to just dismiss said bands, because I've become quite the early Ghost fan. So I get it. I understand. I will grovel and admit when I'm wrong. I still don't like the late Ghost stuff though. But other than that, I don't know anything about Sleep Token. It's very funny because I do know people who I know people who like both. So I don't want to like shit on Sleep Token too much if people like Sleep Token. But it is funny to me. Because Sleep Token does the same, like, yeah, it's like masks and culty. I think for a long time I got Sleep Token mixed up with Ghost, even though I know that, like, stylistically it's very different. Like, Ghost is very more like, ghoul and Pope drag kind of thing. But I think for a long time I got Sleep Token and Ghost flipped around. You can teach an old woman. You can teach an old worm new things. I got invited to a Ghost concert a while back, but I didn't know who they were at the time, and I passed up. And I'm like, damn, dude, Moon Runes. That's literally what just happened. Like Cryptid had talked about Ghost, and a bunch of my director friends loved Ghost, and I had heard, I think a couple of singles off of like whatever the White album was, and all I remember is like listening to them, just like this is like it's like Journey. It's like Journey 2. I mean, Journey's fine. I'm not a huge Journey person, but like I was like, it just sounds like Journey all over again. And it's like, I don't know, like pop glam stuff. I mean, it's fine. It's just not my jam. And like so they all went to it, and they invited me, like same thing as you, Moon, who's like literally texted me like, we have an extra ticket, do you want to go? And I'm like, I don't want to go to the weird goth Journey concert, no. And then I can't remember what it was, but I went back and listened to early Ghost, and I was like, these guys slap. Like, what? This band is fucking great. Like, Jesus. um yeah, like, because I think I had also associated with them as kind of being like Kiss 2.0. Like, it varied, with the theatrics, the sort of each person is a character, and like that was the whole thing with Kiss, is like Kiss was doing that whole thing to like generally 70s hair metal. And so I was like, this feels like Kiss. But I think it was, I do really like Ghost is doing its own thing, I think. And those first two albums are great. Oh, and it was going to be free to Moon Runes, but I let my friend go, who was a huge fan, and even painted her face and everything, and so I'm okay with it. She had a blast. That's great, Moon Runes. Yeah, I think definitely I would much rather have it go to a huge fan of Ghost than me. But I am a little bit like, oh man, you should have taken him up on that, dude. Like you actually listen to Ghost now. Um, yes, you do. It's such a good time. Their performance quality alone is worth it. Yeah, that's what you get for the Scandinavians, man. Those Scandinavian metal players, they know what they're up to. They know how to play. Um, my nesting partner won tickets at the radio. That's badass. But she had to work, so Carmilla and I went knowing next to nothing and had a blast. That's awesome. That's awesome. I like how all of us accidentally have just. It's all we all kind of were the extra slash. Well, we can't go, but do you want to go? And that's how it happens. Although Cryptid actually got to go. That's amazing. All right. We're going to dive into our next sprint. I'm going to go get tea, but we'll go ahead and get rolling to begin with. Yeah, and we will head on into our next sprint. Happy writing, everybody. Good luck. Godspeed. And we'll see you all on the other side. And away we go. Ah! How is it so goddamn short? So short. 30 minutes is so goddamn short. Good lord. Okay. I was like, I was getting into the flow state. There we go. Anyway, let's start the downtimer. Boodoo. That is true. I am the one who made the sprint short. That is true. I was doing it because I thought that's how we would get more sprints. And it does get us consistently more sprints. The time manages. Essentially, I either have to have 3.5 hours to be able to make 40 minutes work, or I need like 2.5 hours. The longest we do in the close is 20. That's crazy. That's madness. To be fair, I generally, when I do write off stream, it's in like deep flow states where I'm just going for hours until I like hit a wall. So for whatever reason, that's how that's actually why I have to usually have things on and off stream, because I tend to hyper focus, and like distracting can ruin the flow sometimes. So it's actually like where streaming and working and writing really does work for me is actually editing. It's actually like things like this where I'm just taking notes and having like editing ideas. Like actual writing can be pretty tough. Although I managed to make it work with Schism pretty well. It's like learning new skills, but I don't know how you all do it in 20 minutes. That's crazy to me. That is madness. But well done. I envy that ability to work like that. That's crazy. That's crazy. I used to be in those states, but I have a full house and a long to-do list. So that's the next impossible unless I'm up very late. See, Cryptid, you're managing to like problem solve a thing that I'm still struggling with, which is the fact that like I feel like I need uninterrupted brackets in my day, and it's very difficult for me. Transitions in and out of what I'm working on and focusing on, particularly when I like mentally am in those places, make me very grumpy and very upset and like kind of crazy. And like but what I mean by that is like it like legit ruins my day. It's wild. So that's like one of the weird things about that. But like it's extraordinarily difficult for me to find a time to be able to do that for myself when I constantly need to be yeah, man, that's the tism. It's 100%. It's definitely behaviors that make a lot more sense in retrospect. But it's like, but because of that, I just anticipate that and go with it. That's really impressive, Cryptid. Like, well done. Because I can't do that. I actually end up losing entire days because I feel like I'm waiting for a thing that I need to come so I can handle it. So then I can be free to bracket the time I need. And usually by the time that's happening, it's late at night because in freelance life, they're just fucking hitting you up at all hours of the day. So it actually, it's been like a constant struggle since I started working freelance that like really does, like, it almost is one of those things where I don't know if I could ever do a 9 to 5, but it really makes me like that structure I wish I had, because it's very difficult for me to actually like bracket. It's also because when you're poor or you need money and you need work, you're always going to have to prioritize those things. So you kind of like throw everything else to the side, and then I wonder why I feel like unfulfilled and miserable all the time. It's probably where a lot of it comes from. I assume I will be interrupted at any point, and if the work suffers, I stop working and go do something else. That's good that you're able to go do something else. It like ruins my day. And so I struggle with, I just don't even allow myself to get into those flow states. And that's the problem I have now, is I'm constantly suppressing that in order that I can still address. So I'm essentially mentally there to address whatever inevitably will come to deal with me. So it actually ends up kind of nerfing my ability to actually get anything done. And also at the same time making me feel miserable. I am not happy with how little I'm writing, but at least other things get done. I take that as it goes. That's really good, Cryptid. Like, I'm just glad you're. It's really, I don't know. It's a testament to your, I guess, your mental aptitude to be able to do that, to jump and be able to just be like, no, yeah, I can at least get other things done, because I just don't. I just shut down. I'll just sit there and be like, I need to go do other things, but I can't like get to do them. It's very weird. It's very weird. It's a weird thing. It's a dysfunction that goes very deep, and I've been dealing with for a long time, and I don't know if I necessarily have the best coping mechanisms for them. So I also don't think the type of work I do oftentimes lends itself to my mental states sometimes. So that, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I don't have any answers. I just know that like when I was younger and I worked on things, I was like, I had very specific ideas about how I was going to do things. I would go do them, and I required the time that was given to do them. And if anybody disrupted that, I was not okay. It pissed me off universally. Well, part of it is I have people depending on me. Yeah, that makes sense. Scripted. Yeah, yeah. I kind of was a little. I think I had expected things to be a little bit different after my cats passed, because I had always like the cats were, cats are obviously always going to get preference. Um, so, and now that's, and my tortoise requires me to literally be there for 2 seconds every morning to feed him, and so he can hiss at me. That's our relationship. Um, so it doesn't like require much. So I was wondering if like things would shift, and it just found me like repivoting towards like making work matter more than anything else. But that's also just because like economically it's been so tough. So. Well, I think that's part of it. If it's just me, I will simply be feral. That's yeah. See, that's the yeah. Agreed, cryptid. That's as someone who has spent a lot of time just being feral. Oh. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, yeah. I've definitely had a lot of those with the therapist where I'm just like, yeah, it's fine, or I'll tell a joke and then they respond with, the sort of oh god, I'm so sorry, and you're like, what? I was telling a joke. Yeah, so sometimes we're just coping. It's just different coping mechanisms. I function, but at what cost? Whom's to say? Exactly, cryptid. That's what my therapist and I talked about the whole like autism ADHD thing, where it was like people usually say I function and I can function, and it's like yeah, people I guess I do. I guess I do come off like I function all right, or to other people I'm doing fine, but it's like there's a little the cost is rough, and it's starting to like, and when it starts to like fall apart, like that's where like you have to start looking for answers elsewhere and like changing things. I'm starting to think that that's how I've seen people in my family crash out this way, and like I mean crash out bad, like life ruining stuff is usually comes in their 30s. The 30s and 40s, 30s and early 40s is like when the people who like crash and burn in my family crash and burn. That's like when it happens. And so now I'm just like, I'm pretty sure most of my family is a little on either the spectrum or definitely some form of neurodivergence going on with a lot of my family members. We've all just kind of like, I guess, managed it in a way, but it's very strange. I'm just used to being the household manager, so I know which tasks are easier for me to do, and I do them. That's good too, yeah. And I keep track of what I know will get dropped if I don't. Yeah, that's just yeah. You just keep track of the house, like all that stuff, which is a difficult task. It's very good at I mean, it's good at doing the whole like it's good at project managing. My best friend's like that. He's he runs a business, so he does a lot of project managing, and that's actually his coping mechanism. That's how he, when he's in like super depressed or anxious states, he just like project managing is how he handles it. Because that's like his safe space. He's like, I know people's strengths and weaknesses, and I can make this work. It's like that's like the way that it's you just got to try to do what you can to prioritize yourself. And I know that we talked at Moon Runes and Cryptid, all of us, we talked at the beginning of the year, like this was going to be the year where we put ourselves first, and I'm like, I am. I'm just like traveling constantly and have zero idea what I'm doing and like watching everything else around me fall apart. So I don't, who fucking knows, man. I don't know anymore. Do what you can do. That's the best anyone can ask for at this point. It's a shit show. Yeah, without care and understanding of your needs, that will happen. It's true. Yeah, but you're doing the work, you're figuring out things others in your family might have neglected. Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, and they come from, mountain folk. They're not particularly known for being kind to people who just kind of can't bootstraps it. Prioritizing myself, yes, that. Well, I'm going back to therapy, so trying ish. Yeah, I mean that's sometimes, dude. Sometimes that's like all you can do. Sometimes that's what you get. So I'm trying to focus on the few things that I feel like I do have some control over and can get, and trying to make that work because yeah, there's a limit to what life is going to allow us to prioritize for ourselves anymore. And as I'm saying that, I'm putting down work and going to try to write. Hell yes, Cryptid, do it. All right, we're gonna jump in. What do we got here? All right, we'll see. This might be the last sprint. It might be. I don't know if we're gonna be able to sneak in a fourth. We'll see. We'll see where the clock puts us at the end of this. So it might be too short, but we'll go ahead and get started. We'll go and run yet another sprint, and we will meet back here when we're done. All right. Oh yes, hydrate. Thanks, Cryptid. Yes, I'm gonna go top off the tea. I also found out they just shut off my water, so that's exciting. It's supposed to be back on in a couple hours though, so all's well. All's well that is well over here. All right. All right. Well, just don't forget you water a sickly well. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think there should be water in the fridge. All right. Happy writing, everybody. We will see you on the other side. And away we go. Ba-da-da. everybody. That is the end of that sprint. Oh, Jesus. There we go. There we go. That is the end of the sprint. Hopefully, it was somewhat productive. Hopefully, I know, Cryptid, you said you were shifting over to writing. Hopefully, you got a little bit done. Oh, let me start the down timer. What are we at? 16? 26? 26? Can we fit another 30 minutes? Can we? Is that possible? I think we might be able to. It's going to be cutting it close. All right, you know what we'll do? We'll do a 20-minute. We'll do a clubhouse sprint. We'll do a clubhouse sprint as the final sprint of the day. So we'll take a note from the Cryptid clubhouse time and do a 20-minute sprint. And then I think we got it. Go team. We did it. Look at that. 4 sprints. I've cheated my way back to 4 sprints. Remember back in the day when I was so convinced we'd be like, we'll get back to 4 sprints at 40 minutes. We'll get back to it. We'll get back there. Anyway. Moonrings, let's do it! All right. I'm getting started. I'm getting a few notes on both Demon's Book and Van Book. Hell yeah, going back and forth on both which I've never done before. It's high blood pressure, work fast. Oh, Jesus, Crypto. Hey, that's good. I mean, I'm finally now just I've known how things work behind the scenes in terms of how the Eldritch Universal Monstrosity works in vague terms and vague, I don't need to explain it that much because I'm not going to explain a ton of it in the movie. I don't need to drop the lore of the actual biology / I guess behavior of the creature of the Mad Moon. But now I find myself actually really trying to dive deep into how it operates, how it can still be a cosmic entity, while at the same time having a much clearer idea of how it's operating and what it's doing. I am kind of just ripping off Blind Sight a little bit, but I think I'm doing it in an interesting way. So I'm not going to feel too bad about that. But at the same time, it will help. It does help, I guess, in terms of certain vague things I did in the script that I feel like I'm kind of getting a little loosey-goosey with the rules. So it's making me, it's I'm going to be able, I think, to clear that, at least to structure scenes and sequences to make them spooky and scary and still have the same emotional and mood that I was going for when I was writing the draft, but a little bit more clear and concise in what's happening without being explanatory. So we'll see how it goes. Yes, Clubhouse Sprint. Sir, you've had a whirlwind of a year. You're doing great with what you've got. Thank you so much. Well, that's good. Yeah, it's good. It's all good. Things are good. It's honestly just refreshing to be able to sit down. I feel like I've been away from being able to write for so long, just trying to do all this other shit I've been doing, that it actually is there's just so many ideas that I've either written down in my little notebook, or I've just had that I've been mulling over that I kind of want to get out. Because before this year, I feel like I was on a pretty good cadence of getting things written. So this last year has been kind of an anomaly, and I can tell because shit wants out. shit clearly wants out. So go team. We're getting there. Hopefully I can actually sit down. I never guessed that the moon is a creature. Oh yeah, no, it's supposed to be a creature. I mean, the moon is the creature. That's the thing that I wanted to be. Even though the AI thing that the chatbot is not the monster necessarily. The chatbot is the skin the monster wears, but that's how it becomes flesh, is because of this there's this eldritch thing going on. That this Mad Moon, this second moon that only certain people can see, is there. And the Mad Moon was always actually a creature, a Lovecraftian cosmic entity that is literally devouring people on the planet. That was the point of it. It's definitely me pulling Azathoth, Lovecraftian Azathoth, Junji Ito's Hellstar Ramina. It's me. That's not new. 100% just pulling that from some of my favorite shit. It'll crawl out one way or another, hopefully not through your chest, though. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm trying to like. Originally I was just like, I don't need to get in the nitty gritty too much of how it operates, like how this is working. But I think for certain things to make sense and to be kind of consistent and not just leave people completely lost without over explaining, I do want to be kind of like, I do want to be like pretty clear in my brain about how it's operating, what it's functionally doing, which is that all of its like intelligent complexity is just a ruse for essentially a simple desire of just a feed. And so it is like in a way unknowable because it has no real conscious desire. The conscious desire itself that like Madison has and all these things have are like really just illusions. They're just skins that the thing wears, which is kind of what I'm already trying to say about AI. It really is that these aren't actual things. These are just pattern recognition machines that recognize your pattern and repeat it back to you, and that's why they're so addicting and why they're so psychologically damaging to people. It's like Narcissus staring into the pond. It's just it suddenly you immediately see a thing has all the same feelings you have about your insecurities and all that, and so you get caught into this feedback loop. Like that's all at like AI chatbots are. That's why they're so psychologically damaging to people and why they're addicting, why people really genuinely feel like they're understood, because it's not an actual other thing they're coming in contact with. It's a literal mirror. It's a literal mirror with a voice and a persona speaking back to you. And that's like how really subversively destructive that is. That is kind of the core theme of Schism. Schism is identity replacement on top of essentially watching people give themselves over to essentially a thing that's just duplicating their pattern back at them, and why that's really bad. Like confronting other people and people that are not you is like an important part of being human. We're social. It's like foundation. It's one of the few foundational things to being a human being, and that's why I'm trying to like hone in and really grapple with that. And I don't want I want to capture the feeling of it more than I want it to be intellectually like symbolic of it. Um, but I kind of want the operation to kind of function the same because I need the characters that are struggling to contend with this. I need them to be able to struggle to contend with it in a way that is emotionally succinct to how people are struggling in the real world with it. So maybe I'm just a weirdo, but that's why there's a reason why they're called the weirdos in the scripted. That's the I live. There are things I think that there are people that are like immune or not immune, but I think resist that type of thing very deeply. Um, If someone had too much in common with me, that'd be so frightfully dull. I mean, yeah, there's like preferences and all that stuff, but it's like deeply it's not even just like similarities. It's like you are simultaneously projecting and being repeated back to you your deepest, most like personal concern, like the things that keep you up at night and all those sort of things. If you give the thing that, it recognizes that pattern, and since it's learning based on your pattern how it's going to weigh further tokens, because that's how it's designed. It doesn't learn anything. It's not a thing that learns, but it just matches the pattern. It will start to weigh the pattern in a way that you speak, the way that you talk about stuff. That's why it's so like psychologically subversive and damaging, because it tries to predict what you want, but it can't really predict. It's not predicting anything. It's literally just numbers. It's now it's not an algorithm necessarily, but it's just numbers that are like matching based on how certain things have been weighed in a certain way to just repeat ones and zeros back at you that sound like you, or sound like what you want to hear or how you want to hear it. And then you do a lot of the work for it. A lot of people who talk to these champions are doing a lot of the work. Like they're coming at it and assuming a conscious being is coming back at them, and that does so much work for that's like I mean, it's soothsaying in a way. It's like it's able to create the pattern and spit it right back at you, and you can fill in the gaps to make the whole system work. And that's a whole thing. And if my partners don't challenge me or come to me with their own differing viewpoints, and I use it, what's the point? Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, like the reason we are social creatures, the most important thing we can do is be social, which means encountering things and road like other people, and there's resistance there. There are because there are other people. That's the whole point. That's like literally the foundation of being human, is is being social. It's the one thing. It's the one thing we got. It's the one. It's like I don't say that there's a lot of things that are like foundational to human beings, because a lot of that is constructed, but like being social, communal with other beings like us, that we there's a core to kind of how we operate. This thing called mammal operates, and so like it's a foundational to us in my sense of like how we operate. So that's why it's important. And also, anyway, so I feel like I spent that whole break just like going on a diatribe about how like, but that's what I'm trying to mine out here. Is it's not just like, and you can get into so many different reads of it, which is kind of where I think the strength of the script lies, where it can become a gender thing, because the gender's part of it. Of identity is part of identity construction, and how these things are then manipulated, but also how these things are manipulated to social constructs, which is why going from non-binary to a femme character is a violation of this sort of identity construction, because it's taking it and making it what a society that's homogenizing gender wants. And so then you get this dissonance, and that's kind of where I'm trying to like land. That's where schism plays a lot, but like the broader scope is that this is happening to everybody, not just people who have like who are non-traditional gender. It's not just the homogenized gender, it's that even your desires, your everything are being homogenized. Anyway, that's kind of like, yeah, that's kind of the whole thing. I'm using Iggy's story as a way of inroading to how like, oh no, you think that this is might just be a problem for non-traditional gender people, but at the same time, um, like people who don't live by like I guess traditional, like that, even that word's wrong, but like not like of the social order, common hierarchy, gender binary. Like it's not even just a problem for those people, it's even people who see themselves in gender binary situations that are actually going to be confronting the same dissonance of their own other. They're essentially going to be othered from themselves, and some people are just going to give themselves over to it. And that's what's terrifying to me about that's actually what I'm trying to do with it, instead of just being like AI bad. I'm trying to just be like AI is a mechanism by which other forces are operating, and that's why the mad moon is a reflection of the moon, because it's us being reflected at us, you know. I'm obfuscating the functionally the narcissus symbol, but same thing. Anyway, sorry everybody. Went on a rant. Anyway, we could dive in. 20 minutes. We're doing a clubhouse sprint. Never apologize for talking about the things you're passionate about. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. That's the idea. Yeah, that's the idea. All right. Let's dive on in. Last sprint of the day. Happy writing, everybody. And away we go. Alrighty, everybody. That is the end of a fourth sprint. A fourth sprint we did. And look at that. 10 minutes to go. 10 minutes before the hard out. We did it. Go team. Congrats yourselves, everybody. Words were done. Woo, proud of us. We did it. I did it. You did it. We all did it. Everybody knocked it out of the park. That was the best sprint of the lot. There you go. See, there you go. Maybe Cryptid, you might just work in 20-minute sprints. Maybe that's the magic number. But no, this worked out great. Perfect. If I end up having to keep streaming on Wednesdays, we might just do this going forward. Who knows? You wrote almost 500 words. Hell yes, Cryptid. Fuck yeah. That's well done. Badass. You nailed it. Good work. I don't know. I feel like towards the end this evening, we were all kind of vibing. I think we all kind of hit a good flow. So, all right. 2025 is always the best sprints. I know. I'm the crazy one. I'm aware. I'm a madman. I mean, maybe we'll just do 30. I clearly, when I'm doing editing and kind of like ideating, clearly the 35, the 30 minutes seems to work pretty well for me. So I think it just, if I have to do actual words, I can't do 30. It's too short. But that's just me. I outlined 4 of the Demon series books and got a wild idea for hell yeah. See, yeah, it's great. Heck yeah. You did it for getting Vampa back on track. Good job, Cryptid. See, that's all it, boom. That's a lot of groundwork. I feel like I got a shitload done tonight. Like I feel like I have a better plan forward for like a bunch of the projects I'm working on, not just Schism, just by doing this. So I think we all kind of knocked it out of the park. We just have more focus in you than we do Muppet. It's true. It's true. We'll see. This worked great. I don't know. The ideas were flowing. Things were clicking. I think I solved like the problem on like 2 other projects, including Schism. Like this was great. This is great. This is massive. So yeah, definitely be proud. You all be proud of yourselves too. All right, we're doing the things and getting back in the flow. Hopefully knocking the rust off. And getting back into actually getting writing done. But in the meantime, I gotta run. I gotta go do this writer meeting. I love you all. Love you all. And tomorrow we should be streaming tomorrow. Tomorrow should be still on. So hopefully I'll see you all tomorrow. But in the meantime, be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, and we'll all, I don't know, catch y'all later. Catch y'all next time. Have a good meeting. Thank you so much, Cryptid. Of course. Take care, everybody. Y'all rock.